over, but he gets shut down. Potato, the last player standing in a 1 versus 1. It's going to be Frozen to take the challenge. The shots are coming through from across the way, and it's a third party as well. Alter Ego, 4 alive, need to get the reses to stay in, but Nova fall to their blade.
Another time, another result, Alter Ego, the kryptonite for Nova. You wonder if they can even get these reses off with the circle pushing them in, but once again, it's Nova taking a tumble to the masked men of Alter Ego. Alpha 7 similarly also taking heavy casualties. Cannot catch a break today, John.
Alter Ego just trying to move forwards. You can't really do too much on the reses here, so solo play. Wolves careening down the hill. They were a duo for a while, but Memory now left alone. Svan will not let them get this res, you can be sure of that. IHC eliminated in the meantime. Alpha 7 falling. Leaves the number of teams that can hit that top spot to end the day very, very small, with Inco already down 3 players. They're very central, so should be able to get these reses if they play their cards right. S2G want to hold off against that. They are playing on the eastern side. Buradam, their main problem right now. 4 players alive for Buradam. 2 of them, oh sorry, 1 of them all the way up northern side. Influence Kemen also playing from Severny. Will have to push down south.
Some serious hesitancy here from any team that was going to try and move on to Inco. Worried that there's a separate team over in those houses to the west of them. 4 AM, currently having a cracker game so far. 3 eliminations, but great spot in the circle. Controlling a lot of teams. Svan tries to run down Potato here.
Kengzo around the side, and actually Silas is found. Buradam sweep S2G away. A chance for Inco to end their day high and be able to take that spot back. Currently 12 points behind with the eliminations added on for S2G. And the placement points will start to add up as well. So they're going to need about 15 points on this game. Maybe a little bit more if they're lucky. Nenebete and the rest of the squad are back to full fighting force. They were down to just the 1 player earlier, but Influence Kemen looking to try and play spoiler. Unfortunately, it's just not going to go their way. Players falling left and right around them. They're picking up these points. Lil Boy finds Nenebete, and Becca goes super, super low. Will get taken down, but these reses can come through unless T2K deal with Wolves early and move in to try and go for this third party. Rig, shots over towards Memory, already knocked and Beautiful, still going somehow. I thought they were going to be done for near shooting range, but no, they are going to keep on trucking. Buradam on the east, they took care of S2G, current top dogs, and now they're going to turn their attention to everybody else.
Raz straight through the middle. Beautiful looking to take on the entirety of Buradam. Finally looking to step up just a little bit here. 6 eliminations so far, seeing them pretty on 65 at the moment. A little bit behind Fireflux and S2E, STE in 12th and 13th place. Stalwart still in the game, central spot. T2K though, rocking up on Inco as 4, and they're split at the moment. This could be great for them.
They've already managed to get 1 flush. Vitali, you do not get this one back. Just squash now remaining as Becca fell earlier. Nenebete, Rezable. T2K not wanting to cross the road just yet. Don't want to reinvest. Instead, they're going to establish themselves. Godlike Stalwart further south of them. There's a lot of 4-player teams that they need to worry about.
Let's see. Still taking shots up towards that northern side. I think a lot of teams aren't really putting a lot of precedent on those compounds anymore. The amount of central shifts we do see towards this end game, towards the late game in stage 6, stage 7, stage 8. It's likely at some point it will head back down over towards Stalwart, barring some crazy shift, but that's it. Down towards 4 AM, Buradam and Stalwart. Inco will have to leave, so will T2K. Still a decent result for Inco. Towards that top 5 once again.
Godlike Stalwart really with a chance to get themselves in the game. Inco still a little bit lacking to take that top spot back from S2G to end their day. But either way, they will be right in that conversation for tomorrow, Blank. It's going to be real tight at the top.
Yeah.
It's all but done here. T2K rolling on around now, want to take this fight. They paused it for a while. They allowed Inco to get back to full HP, but now they have shots through the windows from across the road and nades pouring in on the close range from the duo that they sent through. Rig on the back with 2 nades in pocket. Legend launching them in. Hopefully looking for the golden arm there. Wants to put another in the windows. Nenebete playing on that ground floor. Top floor position as well. Looks like Godlike Stalwart might have some angles onto the outside here. So T2K do need to be a little bit careful. They can't really afford to push too hard, but unless they're going to commit, there's already a knock onto their back line, and they do need to slow things down just that little bit. Godlike Stalwart making this really tricky.
T2K wants to leave this position, but Inco knows just the same. They can stall this out for a long while, potentially even get a 4th place off the back of this one. Nenebete has to pull out something big, but the drop shot isn't quite there.
How on earth did he manage to hold that one out? The push is good. Nenebete able to play around perfectly. And Squash looks for a second. T2K faltering. A third goes down, and it's just Jane. It was all in the palm of their hand, and it slipped away. Inco playing as smoke, so difficult to catch. You just can't contain it. They rack up points. They move further in and deeper towards the top. They will try and fling themselves up to try and overtake S2G, but Squash going down leaves just Nenebete, a powerful player, sure. But what can he do from here? With nades pouring over the top, you've got to imagine this is going to be close to it for him.
Jane looking for that revenge. That last bit of redemption he can give for the rest of his team. Already picked up Squash, so should have sightlines down towards Nenebete. That's Legend going down to the play zone, and Jane will have to move out from that outpost soon. Nenebete drops a lot of smoke, so we'll keep him in cover for a while, but Jane's got nothing left. It's not spraying the right direction, and somehow, some way, Inco gives them the Uno reverso.
4 teams alive, rather, 13 players. And Inco have picked up a whole bunch of points for their position. Nenebete, a star from the Brazilian region, giving them such a platform to play from. But now has it all to do against 3 full squads. Needs to play them off against each other masterfully. It's the only way this happens. The circle does go a little bit his way, but Buradam are rolling straight on in and out into the open fields. They might just get cut down here, and with any luck, Nenebete will be able to pick up 1 or 2 of them as well. Nenebete, he turns it on, and Tiger falls as well. He's going to get shot out by the rest of Buradam, but he has cover from the range, and there's no way that they can push him with Godlike Stalwart right above him.
Only 1 first aid kit, but Nenebete's held his own, and 7 eliminations. Inco going much further. This is an incredible turnout for Nenebete. Once again, this is what he was always known for. These endgame pushes as a solo player. Like you said, have to play each team off one another. Pretend he's not there. Act like the mosquito in the mist.
Made long from 4 Angry Men, but Sky Only is not playing on the rock, nor the burnt out buggy. Nenebete will have to move from his stronghold that he's managed to establish so far. Doesn't have too much time to play with. Action, shots over towards Svan. Tags 1 and a lot of damage found. Unfortunately, he's not going to get the knock for them, but will pause on everything else. Nenebete now having to move. There is no other option. 4 teams remain. Maybe a miracle can happen, but you've got to imagine it's just not really very likely, even for a player like Nenebete. Managed to get a bit of a resupply going. Dropping it through. Smokes are there. Has got first aids back on board with the resupply. Does not have much to operate with. 2 smokes do bloom, and he moves on up the roadside a little bit closer to Godlike Stalwart.
And nade as well, he keeps on throwing them. You say anything about Nenebete, but say that he's determined. This is very good stuff. The fact that he carries on going, takes a bit more damage. The first aid kit that one up, I think that's the last one left for him.
No, he's got 2 more behind, actually, there. He managed to get that resupply.
He might just be able to get in the circle here, you know, John.
The player that rocked up does need to shimmy a little bit further. You can see he's being ticked pretty heavily. There is a vehicle there that he can use as cover. Godlike Stalwart will have to be careful. 4 Angry Men have shots out that way, and finally Kengzo puts a stop to Nenebete's run. With 3 teams remaining now, We are into double-digit placement points. Godlike Stalwart, 4 Angry Men, and Buradam, who needed a strong performance. You said you wanted it. Max said he wanted it. This is a team that has shown up before. With 2 players, can they do it again?
Kengzo was just so good, but Stalwart rocking up on top of 4AM, who have an absolute stalwart hold over on this side. 1 casualty down, and it looks like Buradam's going to go for the third party, the massive third party, the Molotov. Everybody's burning. There's so many nades. Now just Good Xiao left remaining. 1 from Stalwart, 1 from 4AM, and Buradam's looking to close this out.
They might be able to just move through with a duo. Top launches another nade, wants to pinch away the points if he can. Chingchen going low with the bleed out. Good Xiao so low to it, but Skyoli is close. Wants to put the Molotovs in, but I think that might have dropped short. Down go 4 Angry Men, and now 2 versus 1. Godlike Stalwart picked up a load of those points, but 10 eliminations for Buradam. A chicken dinner at this juncture could put them back in the running. If they can keep it together, 1 player now left. Top looking for the res onto action. In comes the roll down for Kengzo. Crashes into the vehicle, launches a teammate high, and Kengzo's good for 1. Top now, 1 versus 2 into the upside down vehicle.
He's in
they
it.
Spray around it. Kengzo, does he spot it? He does. And it is Buradam to light it up for the last game of day 2.
Top trying to pull out the cheekiest move we've seen all tournament as he's upside down like a bat in there, but Buradam did not bat an eye themselves to just take him down instantaneously. What a third party coming through from them. Excellently played. They bided their time so well during that game and struck at the opportune moment. 4AM, they were really living on the wire for such a long time there. Again though, a strange storyline comes out from this. Buradam's super happy with this. Inco, I really think they could have took that chicken dinner. Again, that proactivity, it was there, but in the weirdest of fashions, John. If you look towards that end game, they were all 4 in one side of the building. And then, in the weirdest turns of events, they go 2-2 in the late game. This is the complete opposite of how they should have played this out. They should have been 2-2 towards those first 15 minutes, and then recoalesce towards the end. The fact that they did that allowed T2K to come in, take down 2 of their players, and from there it was really awkward. And with the way that they dealt with a lot of T2K, you feel like if they were in a 4-man roster all in one building, they would have easily punched back against T2K and maybe even got themselves a chicken dinner, which would have sent themselves very, very comfortably into tomorrow.
They could have had a chance, maybe, but it was not to be this time around. Instead, Buradam take it home. We're going to head back to the analyst desk.
Seen Buradam actually taking home a win in what almost seemed like a lost game in the midst of it. They lost 2 players on a very interesting rotate against Nenebete, and then they somehow bring it back with that incredible push from Kengzo. Any words, Max?
I was this close, Alex, this close to giving up, but this is finally the games that I wanted. They had such a good breach towards the mid-game too onto the eastern side. I forgot on which team that actually ended up being, but that was a position that just gave them so much comfort, so much just extra protection over on the eastern edge. And then that third party, Kengzo, full send, he's like, this is our one opportunity, because otherwise it's a 2v4, v4, they're not going to win it. That third party was key for them to steal away that chicken dinner.
And I'm glad that they didn't second guess themselves. I'm glad that they didn't think about it for too long. They just kind of went for it. And this is what we've been expecting out of this team. I mean, I feel like we expected this team to be in the first stage yesterday. And it was a big shock for us to be able to see them before this match in 15th place. Hopefully this is going to be the turning point for them. Remember, if for some reason you didn't get a chance to watch the group stages, they did come out first out of their group. And for their performance that we've been seeing so far, it just wasn't it.
In their group full of veterans when it comes to PMGC 2, like this been there year after year after year. I was a little bit surprised, but you know what? They got themselves the chicken dinner. It's going to help them climb up in the rankings and put them potentially even in the race if they keep it up. But
are we going to stretch it there? You know what? With that performance, they did have over 10 eliminations. I think they might actually put themselves into contention to at least a top 5.
Let's look at some of the highlights. And honestly, I can't wait for us to just get to Kengzo in that end game. His confidence to take the vehicle, pull up to the ridge line, not even wait for his teammate. That's the crazy part. Not even wait for his teammate and just get out and shoot everyone. Absolutely absurd. That's the breach that I was originally talking about. That is what I thought it was going to fall apart. And that 4AM with a similar situation, just different team, also having lots of trouble.
Wow, Kengzo, those peaks above it. And no, this is not Stranger Things, okay? No upside down allowed, apparently, for Godlike Stalwart. And they do get himself shut down by the end there by Kengzo with the MG3. And not much you can really do against an MG3 at that kind of range. But Abe still gave himself some second places.
I love that he tried, though. I love that he tried the upside down.
It
I
must
love
be
that he
so
tried to be
confusing.
creative.
Like
Yeah.
your phone's like, your gyro, you're like, whoa, yeah, what's going on? I don't know.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Something ain't right. Yeah. That's the second time we do that.
Oh, man.
Coming back to a team that both of you actually, you were talking about maybe performing a little bit better today. You just got like Stalwart. Finally, they did have not only a good circle, but also they made a lot out of it. Just in that very late game scenario, it didn't quite work out. Either way, they still stay in the race as well.
Yeah, I think that with these two last performances, they put himself in a decent position to end his second day of play. The thing is, we need to see. I know I'm saying this quite a bit for quite a few teams, like for Buridam, and it's the case also for God like Stalwart. Okay, we need to see more tomorrow. We cannot see this be their one flash in the pan for these grand finals, unfortunately. We need to see just... I would like to see a God like Stalwart Chicken Dinner, which we have not seen yet. And seeing their aggressive nature we saw in these last few matches now, I think it could happen, but we'll see if they can try and transfer this kind of hype we had on these last two matches in tomorrow's 6 games.
I'm so glad you mentioned their aggression, because we have seen a change in that. We were talking about how they were a little bit passive. They were second-guessing themselves yesterday, and they just weren't the godlike Stalwart that we're used to seeing. Today, we were actually getting flash, especially these last 2 matches. And like you guys were saying, they finally stepped it up, and they stepped it up at the right time. And with those 2 back-to-back good performances, I think it's